Aloha. In this video, I'm going to share with you how to increase 9 times the volume in your group with one question. And let's remember, we get paid on volume, not distributors. Hey, aloha, Mark J, world's laziest networker, coming to you from our backyard here in beautiful Kauai, Hawaii. And And for the past month, we've been talking about the Simple Six. If this is your first time here, it's really a derivative of one book, which was a derivative of 2 books. The 2 books it was a derivative of is Think and Grow Rich. I'm sure you're familiar with that. And we've talked about how the author of Think and Grow Rich was laboring in obscurity until he met this man, W. Clement Stone, who built, to this day, the largest and most successful sales force in history. And these are based on 2 simple principles, several principles inside there. So we've already discussed dinosaur and new way versus old way, or new school, old school. It's all nonsense because it really gets down to 2 things. Mind, which we've discussed in parts 1, 2, and 3, definite major purpose, positive mental attitude, and a written plan expressed in continuous action. This is how you get people in the business. This becomes easy once this is right. If you go right for here, the peddlers want you to do, you never end buying their stuff in the new method and the new way and the new social media and on, while people like myself build monster groups with no fanfare. It's really easy once your mind is right. So if you haven't seen these 3 parts, get back there. Make sure you subscribe and hit the little bell up there or whatever it is. So every time we do a video on this series, and we're going to continue to do series like this because of many people like Jack, 2 people, Joni, Alina, Daryl, Hiram. These are people that are behaving in a great way. They're sharing this video series with their team, and they're asking questions, leaving comments, and because they're asking us to do certain things. So this was a request to help you learn how to become a cult, which is just really short for culture. And the culture on our team was the Simple Six, and we've talked about this in other videos, that, this is generally, each one of these leaders has their own way of doing it. And this is the only way to do it. And of course, this is one of your distributors, and he's what? He listens to these conference calls, and he gets confused. So I have always found it's more effective to actually use successful people that are dead, because they can't question them, okay? And we always say the same thing. When you build, we tell people on our team, when you build an organization as big as Stone's, then we'll listen to you, okay? So we've taken care of the mind, which is really how you recruit. You don't recruit by getting lots of leads. You don't need lots of leads, and we'll talk about that next time. But today we're going to talk about retail. This is the method, okay? And I think it's noteworthy to turn the clock back to 1995. Is that when I met you, Davey? 94. So I'm going to say 1995. I met her in 1994. I had enrolled in that company in 1992. We left there in late 98, early 99, and got paid full pay for 11 years. Residual income is awesome if you know how to build it, and most people don't. People rave about their product. Oh, I love my product. We're the great. Our scientists can beat up other scientists. Really, how many retail customers do you have? Okay, you don't have a legitimate business. So what we're going to talk about is the DSL, the dirty little secret in network marketing. So here's a room. It could be a hotel room like the old days. It could be a Zoom or whatever. Your job, my job, is to what? Get people in the room, right? And some blabbermouth like me gets up in front of the room, right, and tells the story, and some people join. And what do? They push money to the company. So let's give you a simple example of the dirty little secret in network marketing, that if you build this way, you will die this way. Let me say it again. If you build this way, your dreams will die this way, because you're sucked in to the lie that sponsoring more people is the answer, okay? If you don't have a retail base, you don't have a real business. And you know all those cute answers to, is this one of those pyramid things? And your upline has all these great answers, and you've used them and they don't work. The reason they don't work is the prospect is actually telling the truth. It is a pyramid. Let me explain that to you. If you don't have a retail base. So let's say there's 100 people on your team, and those 100 people have an auto ship of 100. That would be 10,000. And the company pays a whopping 50% back. We're so great, we pay 50% back. So this group sent up to the front of the room 10,000. How much did the company send back to the room? 5,000. That means people in this room must lose money for some of the people must lose money for the 1 or 2 people in this room that are making money. And everybody says, well, they just have to build their own group. Let me put it to you another way. As long as you're doing the minimum, and if you were on my team and you wanted to do 100 auto ship, we didn't work with you. It's really, my wife says I'm showing too much cleavage. Okay, you got to have fun in this business. People take it so damn serious because they've been taught the wrong stuff. I think it's really hard to build this business the wrong way. It's frustrating. Have a little fun. Okay, so here's the dirty little secret. You can't do the minimum and pitch people that they're going to make the maximum. You've got to build a retail base. You've got to build a retail base. You've got to build a retail base. Now, we're going to show you or give you a skill. So if you have 100 people in the room and they're doing 1,000 a month, that's 100,000. And I'm going to tell you right now, it's much easier to build a group of 100 people doing 1,000 than it is to build 1,000 people doing 100. And here's the proof. Have you ever built a group of 1,000 people? I'm going to tell you no. And the reason you didn't is the dirty little secret. People in your group joined the business to make money. And because they weren't making any money, they turned into product users that you've been led to believe are actually customers. They're not. They're wannabe distributors. They joined to have a better life, and we messed up. So back to the story of how I met my wife and how I figured all this out was it was in 1994. I met the fabulous Davine at a meeting. And it seemed like people liked her. And she found out that I got involved in the business because I was a single parent raising 2 kids on my own. I got in the business to create a home life, to be home with my kids rather than working 60 to 70 hours. There's a fabulous Davine. Thanks, honey. And so I started to notice in my downline that this girl Davine was doing, had a $400 order. 2 weeks later, I think she had one for about $320. A couple weeks later, she had another one for $150. And then her auto ship came out for $150. I added that up and I'm saying, wow, 7 and 3, wow, 1,020. Now I'm Polish and Italian. Sometimes I'm a little slow on the uptake over here. But I don't need a rocket science to figure out, we get paid on volume, not distributors. So we developed a skill, which Davian's going to put down there for you, called fusion. Because I was #1 with combined in New England, and the first person in history of that company, direct hire, to win the gold, silver, and diamond awards. I was #1 with Mutual New York, okay, in New England. Okay, and I was #1 in the country with Britannica. Okay, Now, why am I telling you this? Well, in each of these cases, I was promoted, and they brought me into a room, and they all told me the same thing. 95% of the people don't like to sell. So when you're interviewing people, these are the questions you want to ask them, because they're just going to take the job temporarily till they get one teaching or accounting or whatever. Everybody understand what I'm saying here? I hope you do, okay? All of these companies know that 95% of the people don't like to sell. On the other hand, you now know we get paid on volume, not distributors. So we developed a skill called fusion with one simple sentence. Everybody, I saw what Davine was doing. We developed fusion together, and guess what? The volume in our group within 90 days with the existing distributorship was 9 times higher with one question. What is fusion? Fusion is fusing together retailing and recruiting. Remember I told you the simple 6, this is the growth of your business. Your timeline stays static. So what you really want to drive is volume, right? Because that's what you're getting paid on. But you want to take time out to sell and make $6 or $7, okay? So we fuse together retailing and recruiting with one simple question. I'm going to tell you something right now. There's going to be a link down there that leads to my site. There's nothing for sale on the site. It'll give you the fusion skill. It'll take you about 35 minutes to learn and master that skill. And I'm going to tell you right now, less than 5% of you will do it. Now, you don't have to worry about the ones that won't do it. You know, you can still be trapped in, I just need to get people in the business. You're bringing them into the dirty little secret. If you don't teach them to retail, you don't have a legitimate business. Do you understand that in this room, if there's 10,000 or 100,000 going up and only half as much coming back, prospects are right. It is a pyramid. They're right. Now, you can defend it all you want, but if there's less coming back, so these 9 times the customers led to 9 times the volume, so people in the room were making money. So you want to fuse together retailing and recruiting, and you start by always lead with the business. Always lead with the business. If you lead with the product and they're not interested, it's very difficult to bring up the business. On the other hand, when you lead with the business and they turn it down, Davine built her business and I taught it to my team. She defined it, we refined it and made it better. One simple question, 9 times the volume. You're either on drugs or you need to be if you don't go there and get it, okay? Like I've told you in many of these videos, I'm your coach, not your friend, okay? You're gonna love what happens. You're gonna love this 90 days from now. But I don't expect you to like all this. It's actually work. But you lead with the business, and when they turn the business down, you will turn about 1/3 of them into permanent customers. At the end of a year, at 2 to 3 customers a month, that's 24 to 36 customers, and 70%, 14 to 22, will stay on the books at $100 a piece. That's $1,400 to $2,300 per distributor. You want to know why Mary Kay is legitimately the most successful company in the industry with the possibility of Amway? Because they sell stuff. That's what they do. They call themselves sales teams. But I know people don't like to sell. This skill of fusion, which is, there's a link directly to it down there, will create 9 times the volume with one question. Lead with the business, and you'll build your retail base with one question on your team that will lead to 20 to 30 retail customers by the end of the year. You want to know how to recruit? Hit the subscribe button, leave me a comment, let us know what you'd like us to share on here in the next series, okay, and how we can help your team. Hit the little bell. Peace be the journey. We'll see you on the beaches of the world.